Hey everyone, today we will be doing Pokemon Pearl with Drapion. Drapion is a poison dark type Pokemon with a base stat total of 500. We are working with 70 HP, 90 attack, 110 defense, 60 special attack, 75 special defense, and 95 speed. So we're quite fast, but we can't hit too hard. Before we go into the moveset, let's just roll the intro and get started. If you take a look at the level up moveset, we have a lot of level 1 moves, but however, Fire Fang, Ice Fang, and Thunder Fang we can only get from the move relearner. So we are going to start off with Bite, Leer, Pin Missile, and Poison Sting. And then at level 17 we'll get Acupressure. This move will raise a random stat by 2 stages. So it could raise attack by 2 stages, or accuracy, evasion, special defense, anything like that. And then throughout the rest of the levels, we really don't get anything too good except Crunch at level 49 and Cross Poison at level 58. We do get an interesting variety of TMs. Some of the notable ones include Hidden Power, Iron Tail, Earthquake, Return, Dig, Shadow Ball, Brick Break, Sludge Bomb, Rock Tomb, Aerial Ace, Swords Dance, Dark Pulse, Rock Slide, X Scissor, and Poison Stab. It's really nice that we're going to get Swords Dance since Acupressure is very random and very unreliable. With all that covered, let's now hop straight into the actual run itself. One thing that we're definitely going to struggle with is that Drapion is in the slow level up group, so it's going to take us quite a while to level up. Also, I went with the nickname Scorpion since that's what the YouTube poll comments section suggested. So from now on, in all my edited videos, the first run will have a unique nickname, so keep an eye out for the polls every week. Throughout the early routes, I will defeat the mandatory trainers, and then I will need to catch a Starly and a Bidoof. These will be used for Fly, Defog, Cut, and Rock Smash. And then after that, we can arrive in Jubilife City, talk to our rival here, and then I could get Hidden Power if I wanted to, but I actually choose to skip it since I don't plan on using Hidden Power since our special attack is only 60, yet our attack is 90. And this is Generation 4, so Hidden Power is special no matter which type it is, unlike in Generation 3. And then once I obtain the Poketch, I destroy the rival battle, take out some optional trainers on my way to Orberg City, and then I can head my way into the mine, talk to Rourke here, escape rope out, and now I can take on the first gym leader of Pearl, Rourke. He leads off with a Geodude that knows Rock Throw. I am level 10, I go for Bite, only doing a third, and Rock Throw does 7 damage. Bite does flinch the second turn though, but I do not like these damage numbers. I think I might have entered the fight a bit too low of a level. I do defeat the Geodude though, although at 16 HP left, I don't really know what I can do with that. And then on the Onix, I go for Leer to try and do more damage with Bite. Rock Throw does very little damage. And then at 8 HP remaining, Onix uses a potion, and then a couple more bites knock it out. I have now made it to the Cranidos. The Cranidos does not have as much defense as the others, although it is going to have more attack. It lives a hit, and then it knocks me out. Yeah, I kind of figured that. On the next attempt though, I actually just go in without doing any extra training. I get a bit better luck, and I actually beat Rourke. So here's another thing you need to know about Pokemon Pearl. 99% of the trainers in this game just straight up attack randomly. I don't even know if they coded in a proper AI in this game. I mean, there are some basic checks like don't use Earthquake on a flying type, but other than that, like anything's fair game. And then with Rourke defeated, I go to the mart here to buy some pokeballs, potions, antidotes, repels, stuff like that. And now I have to head back to the Orberg gate here. I've caught a Geodude in here before Rourke, however, I do need to catch a Psyduck. Psyduck have a 30% chance to spawn in the basement, and Psyduck will be used for Surf, Strength, and Waterfall. Plus, Psyduck is one of those few Pokemon that can get me inside Amity Square, so I can get useful items like an Amulet Coin or the Ghost-type Arceus Plate. Before, I would do a B-Barrel, but the main problem with B-Barrel is that on Route 207, it's only a 10% spawn. I'd rather rely on a 90% Geodude and a 30% Psyduck than a 10% B-Barrel, because I've had runs where I've lost 6 minutes just searching for it. It is not fun. Although it does take me a while, because on the first Psyduck I found, I crit it with Poison Sting, it got poisoned, and then it died, so that was really annoying. Another thing that makes this really annoying is that Drapion's ability is Sniper, which if it gets a critical hit, instead of doing 2 times damage, I believe it does 2.5 times damage, so crits do a lot more damage, so that was not good. I'm able to find another Psyduck, I use 1 Poison Sting, it gets poisoned, and then I can go for a Pokeball. There we go. And now I can head back to Jubilife City, defeat these Team Galactic grunts right here, and then I can make my way up to this little cave right here, and then I can get the TM for Rock Tomb. I'm going to teach this just for extra move coverage, but it can also help with Mars's Zubat. Plus it can also help with the Purugly because Rock Tomb can lower speed, and Purugly is really fast. Like if it outspeeds you, 1 Rock Tomb can help make the fight more consistent. So why don't we just go see how that fight goes. She leads off with a Zubat. It does have Toxic, but Drapion's a poison type, so that doesn't even matter. I go for a Rock Tomb, it lives in low health, but a bite from Zubat only does 2 damage, so it's not that big a deal. And now is the Purugly with 42 speed, I have 36. It uses Fake Out, and then it goes for Scratch, and then I hit it with Rock Tomb, lower its speed, and now I can outspeed and spam Bite. Plus Bite will have a chance to flinch the Purugly since I outspeed it, but I just take it out with a crit, and then I level up to level 15 right afterwards. So yeah, that was a pretty easy Mars. This fight is normally pretty hard for a lot of Mons. And now I can go through this route right here and head up to the Eterna Forest. The first set of double battles right here you do with Cheryl is quite difficult because the last does have a Pachirisu, which is kind of tanky at this point, and if it lives, it could paralyze you with Spark or use Charm to lower your attack. The bug catcher though right next to her really isn't threatening, that's why I try and focus all of my fire onto Pachirisu, but luckily I'm able to take it out quite easily. You know, I'm just glad Pachirisu does not have Static as an ability, instead it has Runaway, because if this had Static, this would be way harder of a fight. The rest of the trainers in the forest go real easy, and then I leave Cheryl on her own, head to Eterna City, heal at the center, get the Underground Explorer Kit which is required to progress, although I won't be using it in my runs because I banned the Underground, and then I get the HM for Cut from Cynthia, and then I can head down to Gardenia's gym and take on the Grass-type gym leader. Gardenia leads off with a level 19 Cherubi. At this point I have now gotten Acupressure. The plan is just to spam this move until I can get the random +2 to my attack, which I get on the second try after the first one gave me defense. So the Cherubi goes down, next up is the Turtwig, Bite knocks it out in 1 hit as well. Okay, how about the Roserade? Unfortunately it outspeeds me by 2 points. It goes for Stun Spore, luckily it missed, and then 2 bites is able to knock it out. It did go for Stun Spore again, but I equipped a Cherry Berry just in case this would happen. With Gardenia defeated and the ability to use Cut outside of battle received, I can now head into the Eterna Galactic building and take on the other commander, Jupiter. She leads with her own Zubat as well, but instead of Leech Life it has Giga Drain, so that would be a big deal if I was using a Rock type, but then again, that thing's got 17 special attack. I spam Acupressure until I get the attack boost, which I get on the second try again. Nice. Then on the Skunk Tank, I go for Rock Tomb just to lower its speed, but then I realized I already outsped it anyway, so I decided to just spam Bite instead. And then I defeat Jupiter on the first attempt. Nice. And then with Team Galactic chased out of the city, I can get the bicycle, head down Cycling Road unsuccessfully because I run into some optional trainers, and then I can take on more trainers leading to Mount Coronet, talk to Cyrus, and then I can head my way to Hearthome City. Before doing anything, I go inside this building right here to get a Shell Bell. I did not know this was here until I was watching one of Scott's Platinum videos and found it, so that was pretty convenient. Although I don't think I ended up using it this run. And then I take my Psyduck into Amity Square and get the Amulet Coin. I'm going to be farming for money later because in the game corner, I want the TM for Swords Dance. So in order to get this, I will hold on to the Amulet Coin for now, and then when I'm able to, I can actually fight a bunch of Socialites and Gentlemans on Route 212, and then with the Amulet Coin I will get the money very quickly. And then as I'm leaving, the rival challenges me to a battle. Although oftentimes, this rival fight really is not that hard. Although the Monferno does try and be a challenge because I really don't have a good move for it. I just spam Acupressure hoping to get an attack boost, But this time, I just got a special defense, then special defense, and then my evasion got boosted, and then my speed got boosted, and then finally, my attack gets boosted. I go for bite, it does half, flame wheel puts me at 3 HP left, and then the Monferno uses Mach Punch and I die. I didn't even save for this, because this guy's normally pretty easy. And you know the worst part about this though? The opponents attack randomly. It just happened to choose the correct move. If it had gone anything else but Mach Punch, I would have outsped and knocked it out, so that's just sad. Unfortunately, it save warped me all the way back to Orberg City, and then I enter Hearthome, and then the rival challenges me right here. I did not know he can do that. Apparently, if you lose this fight and you re-enter the town, he just ambushes you right away. So that's interesting, I did not know that. But luckily on the second try, I am able to take him out. I head on over to Salacian Town, head to the mart to buy some more repels, and then I go through the entire Lost Tower. I get a TM for return, which will be very helpful later on in the run, and then at the very top I can get the HM for strength. But I'm not done with errands yet. I go in the Salacian Ruins. Here's the path to get to that room, if you want to know. It's mostly just hugging walls, except when you're almost all the way down, you want to go straight across and then bottom left. I get the rare candy in here, and then I can escape rope out, but unfortunately, I was supposed to buy some escape ropes along with repels, so yeah, that's a bit of a time waste. And then I can head north, go through Route 215, and make my way to Ace Trainers Maya and Dennis. These two can be quite difficult in the right situation. So let's take a look at Ace Trainer Dennis first. In Diamond and Pearl, he leads off of the Monferno, but it is raining, so its Flame Wheel will at least not do as much. I go for Rock Tomb, it does a third. I go for Rock Tomb again, and then it just goes for Taunt. Like, dude, I was already attacking you, you don't need to taunt me. And then next up, he sends out Gyarados, and it intimidates, so it cuts my attack. Rock Tomb does what looked like a fifth. Thrash does pretty decent damage. I instead just decide to spam with Bite, maybe I can get some lucky flinches. But luckily, I get one flinch, and then I'm able to take out the Gyarados. That's good. Ace Trainer Maya, though, just has a Glammeow and a Kadabra. She is really not that hard. And then I can enter Veilstone City. I heal at the center, get the coin case, and now I can enter Maylene's gym. You know what? Can I just say, I am really not a fan of the gym puzzle in this game compared to Platinum. Like, it is super confusing to me. I still cannot, to this day, figure out how to memorize this puzzle. However, unfortunately, while I am in here, I actually faint on a random trainer. I saved and exited, and yeah, the last time I saved was in front of Ace Trainer Dennis. Hopefully I can beat him again. Unfortunately, I get a loss on him because his Monferno burns me. On the next attempt, it burns me again. On the next attempt, it burns me again. On the next attempt, it burns me. I think you're getting the message, right? This is just super unlucky burn luck. This is ridiculous. Although, I should have probably saved before doing Maylene because I am going to be taking somewhat decent damage from fighting moves. Although Poison resists fighting, the Dark type doesn't, so I take neutral damage from it. And then I actually decide, before going back into Maylene's gym, there is actually a TM that could help me. I go south through Route 214, heal in this little hut right here, take out a couple of extra trainers along the way to Pastoria City, and then I can smash this rock and get the TM for Aerial Ace. This is a 60 base power flying move that cannot miss, but the main important thing is that it's a flying move. I go ahead and teach this in the place of Poison Sting. And then I head all the way back and take on Maylene. She leads off with a Metatite. I go for Acupressure, and at first try raises my attack, so that's really lucky. The Metatite uses Detect just to waste time, and then Aerial Ace knocks it out. Alright, next up is her Lucario. It will only take neutral damage, but on it, I have the move Dig, which I've taught. I got the TM for Dig in the little Maniac tunnel. If there's like a guy there who will dig up to the Salacian Ruins, yeah, there's a TM for Dig in that little area. And then with Lucario in Machoke down, I take out Maylene. So now after this, I have to help Lucas take out Team Galactic to get his Pokedex back, and inside this little house here, I get the HM for Fly. I unfortunately don't use it yet because when I went and got Aerial Ace, I should have at least entered Pastoria City first so I can fly back. So I unfortunately have to bike all the way back. So this is just more time loss. In Pastoria City, I go ahead and buy 31 super repels, and then I buy some extra potions, and then I go west to Route 212, and then get a rare candy in the mud, and then I go further along in the route, and then I get the hidden heart scale that's here. The reason I need a heart scale is because I want to go to the move relearner to relearn one of the elemental things. There was another heart scale back at Route 212, and I got it. I probably forgot to mention it, but anyway, I've got 2 heart scales. I'm going to be relearning 2 moves when I get to it. But before I do that though, there was another move I really wanted to pick up. I bike back to Eterna Forest, enter the old chateau, and then I can get the TM for Substitute and the Dread Plate. The Dread Plate boosts the power of dark type moves by 20%, and of course Substitute is a really good move to have, especially for Pokemon that have setup moves. And now is the point where I have to do money farming. As usual, I'm going to go to the Gentleman and Socialite right here, along with the 2 rich kids that are outside the mansion. I only need to fight them like 4 or 5 times, not including the Versus Seeker, and then I can get enough money to go to Veilstone City Game Corner, where I purchase for 80,000 Pokédollars or 4,000 coins the TM for Swords Dance. This is going to be a much more reliable setup move than Acupressure, so I'll be happily taking this. So now, I'm going to take on Crasher Wake with the moveset Thunderfang, Ice Fang, Swords Dance, and Substitute. So let's go take him on with this set. He leads off with his Gyarados. I go for 3 Swords Dances to get up to +5. I go for 2 Swords Dances getting up to +3, and then Thunderfang knocks it out in 1 hit. Next up is the Quagsire. I can only use Ice Fang on it, but due to its Park Ground typing, it takes neutral damage, and I am able to knock it out in 2 hits. And then finally, the Floatzel is very easy with Thunderfang. I completely destroy the rival fight here, unlike how the rival went last time, and then I can chase off the Galactic Grunt, but unfortunately I wasn't paying attention, and I was spamming A, and I accidentally taught Toxic Spikes over Thunderfang, so I ended up having to do all of Crasher Wake again, so yeah, that was quite dumb. Fortunately, I don't do that a second time. I talk to Cynthia to get the secret potion, and then I can head my way up to Celestic Town. Unfortunately though, I actually forgot to get the Defog HM back in the Great Marsh, so now in trainer battles here, it's like I have a Gen 1 Sand Attack on me at all times. I mean, the opponent has it too, but it's still really annoying to deal with. But I figured it was too late to go back. I unfortunately kept missing Thunderfang on this one guy's Machoke, so I reset thinking I saved before him, but nope, I'm before Crasher Wake again. So yeah, I'm clearly blowing this run. I do get the Defog HM and the rare candy while I'm here though. And then finally, after what seems like forever, I finally head to Celestic Town, investigate these ruins, get the HM for Surf, and now I can take on the 5th gym leader, Fantina. Fantina is going to be quite easy because the Drifblim's moveset is honestly quite bad with the exception of Minimize. I mean, Drifblim's Aftermath will honestly do more damage than any of its damaging moves, which I find kind of ironic. Then the Mismagius and the Gengar right afterwards are quite easy, even though the Gengar outsped, but Gengar cannot live a +6 Ice Fang. With Fantina defeated, I can now use Surf outside of battle. I teach it to my Psyduck, fly back to Route 214 and get this 1 rare candy, and then I fly to Jubilife City, grab this rare candy, and then I head on over to Canalave City. Here I can take on the next rival battle. I use 1 Swords Dance on the Staravia to get to +1, because Staravia does have Intimidate, so I pretty much started out at -1, but I figured 1 Swords Dance would be enough, since his Pokemon weren't fully evolved yet. And fortunately I win very easily, and now we can take on the 6th gym. Honestly, I don't know what I was thinking with this moveset. Having only physical moves to take out these random Steelixes on these trainers, it's gonna take a while. In the next run, I'm gonna need to figure out how to get a special move here just so I can have a much easier time. Plus, due to PowerPoint reasons, I end up having to leave halfway through this gym just to heal at the center. So yeah, not fun. But finally, I can take on the 6th gym leader, Byron. He leads off with Bronzor. I set up a substitute because this thing has Hypnosis and Confuse Ray, so this is a really good opponent to set this up on, especially with Swords Dance on my learn set. And then now that I'm at +6, Ice Fang one-shots it with a crit. Honestly, I think it mattered. The Bronzor is really bulky. And then Steelix unfortunately receives less than half. It retaliates with its own Ice Fang, and then it uses a Sandstorm. Unfortunately, since this is not a 2-shot, it is going to heal. And then unfortunately, the Steelix hits me with Gyro Ball, and then the Sandstorm chip damage brings me down to 5 hit points left. I deny learning Poison Fang. Sandstorm puts me at 1 HP, and yeah, I don't see a world where I can defeat Bastiodon. On the next attempt, I get back to the Bastiodon with 34 HP plus a substitute. Ice Fang does a third, Flash Cannon destroys my substitute. I go for another Ice Fang, and then Bastiodon goes for rest and it uses its Chesto Berry. I miss Ice Fang, Flash Cannon leaves me at 7 hit points. I keep spamming Ice Fang hoping to get a freeze or something. It uses Iron Defense, and then Ice Fang actually froze the Bastiodon, and then I am able to knock it out. Dude, that was so lucky. An all-physical moveset is never a good idea for Byron. I really need to take that into note for the next run. Now is the point where I have to do a bunch of Team Galactic stuff at the lakes. Saturn was quite easy at Lake Valor, Mars was easy at Lake Verity, and now I have to go all the way up to Lake Acuity, which is by Snow Point. So now I fly back to Celestic Town, enter Mount Coronet from this side, get a hidden rare candy as well as a max elixir for later, and then I get a second rare candy and enter the snowy route. In this little cabin here, you can actually talk to the bed and get a free heal, so I like to utilize these free heals when I can because they are quicker than using centers. So now, I just want to mention that the first mandatory trainer here is this one guy who starts off with a Raichu. The reason I want to mention him is because during this fight, the Raichu ends up paralyzing me, and then the Hippopotas right after it does major damage with Earthquake. I'm not able to defeat the Pelipper right afterwards, so I actually have to black out and warp all the way back to the last place I healed at, which was at my own freaking house. So yeah, that is just awful. This Pokemon has really not been that fun to play with. On the next attempt, I do save beforehand and I do beat him. And then I can get the HM for Rock Climb, teach it to Geodude, enter Snow Point City, solve the puzzle, and then I can take on Candace. She leads off with a Snover. I go for what I did with the other guys, set up to +6 with Swords Dance, and just completely sweep the fight with Return, which I did teach over Ice Fang, because after Byron, I really did not need Ice Fang. So now with Candace defeated, I head to Lake Acuity, watch the cutscene between the rival and Juniper, and now I can head on back to the game corner. I come here though, I only buy 1,000 coins because I get the Silk Scarf item. This will boost the power of Return by 20%. I couldn't get this earlier because I was grinding for Swords Dance, so at this point I decide to get it. So now is the point where I have to do the giant galactic hideout. Honestly, there really aren't that many grunts in here that you have to fight. It's just the reason this feels long is because you have to fight them at Mount Coronet too, and the first Cyrus battle here is generally really easy. So I think I might actually go ahead and skip all this and go straight to the Mars and Jupiter multi-battle on top of Spirit Pillar. I take on Mars and Jupiter with my rival Barry. I do have a slight moveset modification. Instead of Thunderfang, I now have Rock Slide. I got the TM for this in Mount Coronet on my way up here. Rock Slide is actually quite useful because all of Cyrus's Pokemon in this game are weak to Rock, so I'm going to set up Swords Dance and sweep with Rock Slide. Here's another thing I feel like I should mention about Cyrus. I feel like the Cyrus fight is way harder in Diamond and Pearl than Platinum, because if you fail to defeat Cyrus, you actually do have to fight Mars and Jupiter all over again. So in a solo run, I want to make sure I'm as prepared as possible. So now with Mars and Jupiter taken down, let's see how the Cyrus fight goes. He leads off with a Honchkrow, which doesn't really have that good of a moveset, although Drill Peck can do decent damage, and he unfortunately goes for it twice. and then Steel Wing puts me at 23 HP left. This is not good, because if you look at my speed, it is 120. The fastest thing on his team is Weavile with 136. But here's the thing, the Crobat can outspeed too, but luckily it just goes for a bad move. And now is the Weavile. Unfortunately, it does go for X-Scissor, and I die. So that means I have to do Mars and Jupiter again. But what I decided to do is use all of my rare candies to get to level 55 beforehand. If I can get to a high level beforehand and make Cyrus as safe as possible, I can eliminate resetting on this fight. And the high level was definitely warranted because I outspeed everything on his team and defeat him. So now with all the Team Galactic stuff done, I can now take on the 8th Gym Volkner. Unfortunately though, I had to get rid of Dig on my moveset, so I end up going in the Wayward Cave, and after solving the most difficult bike puzzle on the planet, I can actually get the TM for Earthquake. So why don't we go take on Volkner, shall we? He leads off with Raichu. I go for Swords Dance, it hits me with Thunder Wave. I really should have used a substitute first, but fortunately for me, the whole fight was still easy and I win on the first try. That just shows you sometimes the bad AI on the opponent can save you or it can hurt you. So now I go to the mart to buy some more repels, heal up at the center, teach Waterfall to Psyduck, and now I can head my way up to Victory Road. There are a lot of mandatory fights in here, and a lot of them have fully evolved Pokemon, so as long as I don't have any problems here, I can just head straight on up to the League. Fortunately, I don't have any problems, and now that I'm at the Pokemon League, I can heal at the center, buy some full restores, but before taking on the final rival fight, I need a Dark-type move for the Elite Four, because if you look at my moveset, Return, Earthquake, Swords Dance, Substitute, I cannot hit Flint's Drifblim, so I won't have a move to hit it at all. So unfortunately, since I chose not to learn Crunch by Level Up thinking I wouldn't need it, I instantly regretted this, but luckily I can talk to this guy and get the TM for payback, so at least this'll do. So now let's take on the rival before the League. He does have a lot of tough Pokemon like Staraptor, Infernape, Roserade, Snorlax, but fortunately for me, he's not a problem at all. So now I heal at the center again, save before the Elite Four, and now I can take on the final 5 trainers. Let's do this shit. First up is the Bug-type Elite Four member Aaron. He leads off with a Dustox. First thing I do is go for Swords Dance. Bug Buzz doesn't do that much. Swords Dance again. Bug Buzz now puts me at half HP, and I said, you know what, +4 should be enough. I go for Return, one-shotting the Dustox, one-shotting the Beautifly, one-shotting the Heracross, one-shotting the Vespiquen, and now it's Drapion versus Drapion. However, mine is better, and I defeat it. Next up is the Ground-type Elite Four member Bertha. This was one of the main reasons I really needed a Ground-type move, because Return just ain't gonna cut it for her Rock types. She leads with Quagsire, whose only attacking move is Dig for some reason. It has Double Team, Protect, and Sandstorm. This thing kind of reminds me of Lorelei's Cloyster from Fire Red and Leaf Green. It just has like no attacking moves. Plus, Dive and Dig are kind of similar if you think about it. But then once I defeat it, I knock out the Hippopotas, I knock out the Golem with Earthquake. Okay, so far so good. Now the Wishcash. Earthquake knocks it out, and last up is Sudowoodo. It outspeeds and uses Sucker Punch, luckily not doing that much, and I defeat it. Next up is the Elite Four member Flint, the user of Fire and who knows what else type. You know what, I hear a lot of schlack talking about the Diamond and Pearl Flint, but you don't want to underestimate him. His type variety has caused problems in the past. I had to go back and get payback just because of his Drifblim. First up is the Rapidash. I go ahead and use Swords Dance. All it gets off is a Solar Beam and then a Flare Blitz, which does very massive damage. And then one Return knocks it out. Next up on the Infernape, it outspeeds me by 5. It goes for Earthquake, and I get my first reset in the league. In the next attempt, I'm able to take out the Rapidash with full health. The Infernape outspeeds and goes for Flare Blitz, and since Sunny Day was up, it did a lot of damage. And then one Return knocks it out. Alright, next up is the Lopunny. I outspeed it, go for a Return for the one-shot. And now next up is the Steelix. At this point, I was like, uh-oh. Only return and payback, that is not good. So I decided to set up the rest of my Swords Dances. It hits me with Fire Fang, luckily not burning me. I go for return, doing slightly less than half. Fire Fang puts me at 18 HP. The Steelix lives in red health, and then it just uses a Sunny Day instead of finishing me off. And then I go for return. It gets a sniper boosted critical hit, and I knock it out. But you want to know the problem? Drifblim has Aftermath. It does 25% of your max HP in recoil damage if you knock it out with a contact move. So yeah, that was really bad. I do fortunately win on the next attempt, so let's go take on the Psychic type member, Lucian. Lucian was just straight up really easy, especially since I take 0 damage from his Psychic type attacks. And now we can take on the Sinnoh champion, Cynthia. She leads off with her Spiritomb. This thing is a really good target to set up on because its offensive capabilities are kind of bad. Plus, it does have the trash move Embargo, which I was hoping it would use to buy me a free turn, but I get to 137 HP left and I knock it out with +6 boosted payback. Then on the Gastrodon, return is a one-shot, okay. Next up is the Garchomp. It outspeeds me by 3, hits me with Dragon Rush, I flinch, luckily the next one missed, and then my return almost knocks it out, but it doesn't. I was at +6 boosted Swords Dance. I was at a +6 attack stat from Swords Dance, and a return at level 65 did not one-shot. That is a massive problem. I also do want to mention that this first run was recorded just before Steve and I did that Regigigas stream with Tiberius. You should totally check that out if you haven't, by the way. And I was running out of time, so I straight up just decided to just end this attempt early. So yeah, this first run was just unfinished. And besides, I really screwed up the routing in this run. But hopefully for the second run, not only can we complete a run, but maybe we could get to the Elite Four way faster. So why don't we just go straight ahead to the second run. There is one major routing change in the early game. Remember how I struggled with Monferno on the Rivals team, plus I struggled with Byron's and his Steelixes a lot? Well, I now have a special move solution. I am now going to be using Hidden Power Water. This will not only deal super effective damage to the Monferno, but it'll also help deal super effective damage against the Steelix, and it'll be a decent special move. So yeah, this is going to be quite nice to use. The first gym leader Rourke goes the same, although I unfortunately get one reset on Mars because I decided to skip getting Rock Tomb, but the Perugly just kept outspeeding me too many times, so I ended up having to win on the second attempt. So yeah, that was a bit of a little misplay error, but we're moving on. I have no problems with Gardenia, as well as the Galactic Building in Eterna. I actually go to the Old Chateau, and I get the TM for Substitute before even finishing my errands here, just so I don't have to backtrack later. Now heading all the way to the rival battle in Heartdome City. Remember how I had a reset with the Monferno? Not with Hidden Power Water, I don't. I go through the Lost Tower and the Salacian Ruins like before. I skip getting payback because I will learn Crunch by level up. Unfortunately, I accidentally fought Ace Trainer Maya and Dennis at the same time instead of separately. So when I fight them at the same time, things get really bad, and then I do have to black out. When I come back though, I take on Dennis separately. Unfortunately, his Gyarados gives me a reset, but on the next try, I'm able to beat him as well as Ace Trainer Maya, and I can move on to Veilstone. This is the moment where I actually want to show off my brilliant plan. What I want to do is I want to get Aerial Ace to deal with Maylene. So what I actually do is I go down Route 214 and eventually head my way all the way to Route 213 before Pastoria City, and here I can smash this boulder and then get Aerial Ace, but instead of backtracking like I did before, I go into Pastoria City, enter the Great Marsh, get the rare candy and the HM for Defog, and then I head on over to Route 212 right here. I get another rare candy, and then I get the Heart Scale. But however, I do want to beat Maylene before Wake, because Maylene gives me the ability to use Fly, and I would have to backtrack. My plan is to actually fight all of Wake's trainers. I went in the Pastoria Center to deposit my HM users, so now when I black out on him, I should warp all the way back to Veilstone City and then take on Maylene, get Fly, and then fly him back to Pastoria. Let's see if it worked. Alright, I end up in the center, I withdraw all my HM users, and then I leave and I'm still in Pastoria. Yeah, remember when I had to deposit my HM users? That apparently counts as setting your warp point. I thought healing there set it, but I guess in this gen, just entering the center does it. I chose not to save and just fight her right away, but unfortunately her Lucario just gives me a much harder time. I lose, and I black out and I have to bike all the way back to Veilstones. I need to stop playing this risky, it is not worth it. Plus whenever I leave, I have to solve this stupid puzzle all over again. I get a few more resets due to bad luck with Force Palm on Lucario paralyzing me, but I am able to win. The main thing that made this hard is because I have to hold on to Hidden Power and Substitute at this point, and Bite's my main damaging move and Aerial Ace is for Maylene, so I had to get rid of Acupressure so I could no longer set up my attack stat potentially. That's what made this real difficult. And then I get the HM for Fly, head back to Heartdome City and get the Amulet coin, and then I do some money farming to buy up Swords Dance, and now with Swords Dance obtained, I can now take on Wake. At this point, I have Thunderfang, Swords Dance, Hidden Power, and Substitute. In order to keep Hidden Power, I did have to eliminate Ice Fang. To be honest, Hidden Power Water was just more useful anyway, mostly because of Byron. I get the Secret Potion from Cynthia, and unfortunately on this route right here, the Foggy Route, I accidentally encounter this double battle right here who have a Raichu and a Gyarados, and I barely won this fight. It was quite scary. Some of these double battles with the Ace Trainers you do not want to take on unprepared. Oh guys, check this out. I have Substitute for Fantina this time, so I can completely avoid all damage from her. I wasn't sure if Aftermath is blocked by Substitute, but I'll never know because my Substitute was broken. But I do beat Fantina on the first try. I go around and get some rare candies I need, and then I can head my way to Canalave City, destroy Rival 5, and let's see how well Hidden Power Water works on these Steelixes. Oh yeah, really, really nice. This was definitely worth getting it. I really should not have set to the side Hidden Power due to my bad special attack. It seems like in Sinnoh playthroughs, physical attackers will have a disadvantage in Byron's gym, in this game specifically, and I think only special attackers will have a disadvantage at that one trainer in Victory Road with a Blissey, because I have fought that Blissey with only special moves. It was like a 35 turn battle. It was not fun. So now with Hidden Power Water, I set up Substitute on the Bronzor, try and set up Swords Dance, but unfortunately I get a reset because the first Bronzor was doing way too much damage to me with Flash Cannon, so I kept getting my Substitute broken and my health was getting too dangerously low. And then on the second try here, the Steelix actually froze me with Ice Fang. Bruh. I do win on the third try though, thankfully. Wasn't as hard as last time, but still some bad luck there. I head on over to Lake Valor. I get one reset on Saturn because I didn't have any potions to heal. I was just completely out. But then once I beat him, I can talk to my mom here in the house and get a free heal. So that's quite nice. And now with Lake Verity done, I can actually fly back to Celestic Town, enter this little shop here to buy repels, and I actually get the black glasses from this guy. I was thinking he would give me the choice specs, but I think that's a different time of day. But anyway, I head through Mount Coronet, and now I'm back at this Raichu Hippowdon Pelipper trainer. I wanted to make this guy clear. I got not one reset, not two resets, not three resets. It took me 4 resets to beat this guy, all because of Thunderwave luck. Dude, I really do not like this guy. So I guess note for self in the future, do not underestimate Raichu guy. I'm sure Steve M Plays will agree with me. I finish up the stuff over at Lake Acuity, and then I head to the Veilstone department store. I actually go to the 2nd floor and buy some vitamins, so for once in a Sinnoh playthrough, there will be a Vitamin of the Day. And today's vitamin is Carbos. I need 3 Carbos because speed was a huge problem in the last run, so I figured since I have 73 speed EVs, and I can use 3 of them to get to 100, I decided to just use them because I think it'll help. Oh yeah, for nature, I actually am going with a plus speed nature minus special attack, so Jolly, because I think the extra speed will help guarantee the outspeeds on Cynthia. I head my way up to the top of Spear Pillar, use all of my rare candies before these little galactic runts right here, and then I can take out Mars and Jupiter quite easily. And fortunately for me, I get a first try Cyrus fight. So yeah, that is a lot of time saved right there from last time. And now I can head my way to Sunyshore City, completely destroy Volkner with Dig, and then I can head my way through Victory Road. But unfortunately, in Victory Road, I get a reset on this one guy's Machamp due to a crit cross chop. Fortunately, I did save though, but it was 2 trainers back. So hey, not as much time lost as it could have been. If my last save was Volkner, I would have been so upset. So now we are back at the Pokemon League. The rival here doesn't give me any issues at all, even though he does put me dangerously low in HP. So now we can take on the Elite Four. Aaron didn't serve any issues as expected, Bertha didn't serve any issues, and now we're back at Flint. This is going to be much easier now because my moveset is Crunch, Swords Dance, Dig, and Substitute. I don't have Earthquake because Earthquake is such a pain in the butt to get because of that bike puzzle, so I actually decide to just keep Dig the whole game. It's only 20 base power weaker, and I only need Dig for a couple of fights anyway. On my first attempt at Flint though, as soon as I defeat the Steelix, I go for Crunch on the Drifblim. Aftermath leaves me at 24 HP, and I beat him on the first try. Nice. Lucian gets easily destroyed, so now let's actually defeat Cynthia in this video, so why don't we just roll the intro? Just one more time. She leads with Spiritomb. I'm level 66, my speed is 193, so I will outspeed everything on her team. Spiritomb is a one-shot with Dig. Then on the Gastrodon, I misclick and go for Dig. I shouldn't have done that because there was a chance it would have used Earthquake, but oh well. And then on the Garchomp, I one-shot it with Crunch for the nice stab damage, because with the same type attack bonus, Crunch will do more damage than Return did. And then Lucario gets defeated with Dig, my Lotic gets defeated with Crunch, and then the final Roserade is the one-shot, and then I clock in with a real time of 2 hours, 28 minutes, and 49 seconds, with 16 resets at level 67, with a game time at the Hall of Fame of 6 hours and 36 minutes. So yeah, honestly, even though this is a second, more optimized run in my opinion, the amount of resets is still pretty high. Like, here's the thing, like, Drapion may look good because it gets Swords Dance, the Stab Crunch, the Elemental Fangs. It just barely has the good offensive and defensive stats. Like, I just kept getting one-shot by a lot of different things. So honestly, this run just was not that fun to play. Plus, the Dark typing honestly did us more harm. I mean, yeah, we're immune to Psychic, but there really aren't that many good Psychic users besides the Elite Four member. Plus, the Dark typing made me neutral to fighting. If I was resisted to fighting moves, I think Maylene would have been way easier and not needed Aerial Ace. I would have just spammed Bite or Dig the whole time. But still, a run is a run. So if we take a look at our leaderboard, this earns Drapion 3rd place overall. But that doesn't mean it's good, because you see the top 3 being Empoleon, Staraptor, and Drapion. Those are the only Pearl runs I've done reruns of. Infernape, Charizard, Torterra, and Slacking still need their own runs. I think with better planning, Infernape and even Charizard could probably beat Drapion, but we'll see. Anyway, I hope y'all liked this video. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and be sure to follow me or support me on Patreon or YouTube memberships. Links are down below. Also, YouTube members during my live streams and premieres will now have access to emotes, so make sure you use them. And the more members we get, the more emotes I can add. I'll try my best to keep the emotes full. Anyway, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.